Hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now that's right, as you can see here, or here, I'm not sure what corner of the video this goes in. It's another tier ranking video. This one was requested by the wonderful Mr. Alex Pitt to do Game of Thrones characters. I also have another request to do Walking Dead characters. So Walking Dead characters is going to follow this one early on this week. Now, before we get started, I do want to quickly say I went from uploading daily to there's been a 3-day gap between this and my last video, and that is purely because I was furloughed, I was in lockdown because of COVID, and I got the call to go back to work this week, and I just took a few days for myself just to settle back into normal routine work life. Videos are going to continue to come out every 2 to 3 days. I want to keep this channel very lively. I want to keep it always feeling fresh. So yes, I don't worry, guys, who think that, the channel's going to change. It's not. We're going to keep doing lots of videos. And also for my contest, I'm going to look over all of that tomorrow. Anyone who's made videos, and I'm going to get all the contest entries in and stuff so far. It's been great to see so many people participating in all 3 contests. The live stream one, of course, is done now. That one's over. But we still have the Instagram and the normal YouTube live contest going. So make sure you check them out. But anyway, let's get on with the video, because look at this, guys. Look at how many characters are on here. Now, I can't remember all these characters' names. Me and Game of Thrones had a bit of a falling out when Season 8 aired. So some of these characters' names I'm not going to remember too well. And at the end of the day, also remember, this is my opinion. Some people are going to like some of these characters, which I put lower down a lot more. But hey, anyway. And some people are going to not agree with the ones I put higher. So let's get started then. So the first one up is Mr. Robert Baratheon. I'm going to put him... I'm going to go a bit quick on some of these because there's a lot. I'm going to put Robert straight in as a B. He's a really good character. He's really well developed. You really do understand all of his... where he's coming from and stuff. And he's a really cool character. Sansa, she's going straight to an S. She's just a fascinating character to watch her grow on screen. How much her character developed through all of the seasons, and she's one of the few characters whose story I didn't hate in Series 8, because I felt that she stayed true to who she was in Series 8, unlike a lot of other characters, and Arya is one of them. However, I'm going to look past that, and I'm still going to put Arya as an S. I guess an S stands for, like, super, or something, I don't know. Even though I didn't love what they done with Arya in Season 8, up till that point, her character was super well developed. It was great to see her grow on screen. And she was my favourite of the Stark kids. I just found her story fascinating. Even though it got a little bit boring in Season 5, I think it was. They pulled it back really well in Series 8, and her story was great. Bran. Okay, now Bran did have a good story, but I think we can all agree he's the weakest of the Stark kids. And I absolutely hated him in Season 7 and 8. And I think I'm going to put him as a C. Yeah, I really don't like his character much. Because in the first 4 seasons, while his story was interesting, it was the story, it wasn't him. He wasn't as interesting as the plot that was developing around him. And his character was always kind of just very meh. And then, yeah, Series 7 and 8, he was just very unlikable. I'm not going to put him as a D. He's not totally awful, because his character did develop. But, yeah. And then we got the youngest Stark kid, who I am going to put as a D, because I kept forgetting this guy existed. And then the way they sort of just brought him back in Series 6, it was like, oh yeah, this guy exists. I forgot about him. So yeah, he can go as a D. Joffrey. Now, Joffrey, I'm going to put him as an A, because Joffrey, he's an absolute arsehole, and we all hated him, but he was so fun to hate. I actually kind of missed him when he went. He's a very fascinating character. You get that he is beyond just a spoilt brat, and I really do. I used to love watching him, even though I hated him, and I couldn't wait for him to die. And it's weird, like I say, when he died, you missed him. Jorah, I'm going to put as an S. I love Jorah. He's just such a fun character to watch. I really do enjoy him. Where am I going to put Theon? I'm going to put Theon. I'm going to put him as an A. His character went through so much. Seeing their development. Again, wasn't super happy with how they ended his story, like most things in Series 8. which is, I think, why he fell out of the S. I think if he'd had a better ending, he might have actually gone to a super character, or whatever that stands for. But yeah, at the minute, he's going to go there. I say at the minute, he's going to stay there, and the series is done. But yeah, I think that's where he belongs. He's got a lot of development. Littlefinger, I found his character fascinating. I'm tempted to put him as an A, and I think I am going to put him as an A. I found his character absolutely fascinating. I really enjoyed him. The Hound, I'm also going to put as an A. He's one character who also didn't have a terrible ending. I would have preferred the fight with him in the mountain to be a bit better. But, yeah, he can go there. Samwell Tarly, I'm going to put straight up there as an S. I love Sam. He was just super fun to watch on screen. He's one of those characters where he's genuinely just a really nice guy, and you feel for him throughout this whole show. You're like, please don't hurt Sam, please. And I'm so happy that he survived the whole thing. Tyrion, of course, need I say any more? I much prefer Tyrion in the first 4 seasons. I much prefer him when he's in King's Landing to when he's helping Daenerys. But still, his character is great throughout all of the seasons of the show. And I really enjoyed the fact that in the later seasons, he seems to be the voice of reason around some very trigger-happy people, let's say. Okay, we've got Robert Baratheon's younger brother, whose name's escaping me in a minute. I'm going to put him as a C. Yeah, he doesn't really do too much. He's only in Series 1 and 2. And, yeah, I know that, of course, these are all based off books, the first 4/5 seasons. But I'm going to put him there because I haven't read I've only read the first book, so from the TV standpoint, you know, he's sort of just there to help out this War of Five Kings title. He really doesn't do much. Then we of course have the prostitute Rose. I'm just going to chuck her down there. She doesn't really do much. We've got Jorah Mormont's father, whose name's escaping me. Mormont, of course. I'm going to put him as B. I really liked him. He was kind of like a father figure to Jon in the early stages of him being at the Watch. He seemed like a really nice guy. And I was actually really upset when he died. So, yeah. Then, of course, we have this guy whose name's escaping me. I'm going to put him as a C. I liked him in the early... Was it season 3? 2 or 3, I think it was 2, sorry, where he was sort of running around with Arya and the Baker Boy. But I didn't really like what they'd done with him in the later seasons. He just sort of comes back out of nowhere. He's got a big hammer, and it's like, what's the point of him being here? His story's going nowhere. And I hate that the fact that they made him and Arya sort of have a very brief romantic connection. It felt very weird, considering when we saw them before, she was like meant to be 13 or something. It felt very odd. I think her name's Lily or Lila, something. I can't remember. But, you know, she's the woman, she's the sister of Ned Stark's wife, the one who lives in the Eyrie and has the big hole. I'm going to put her... I'm going to put her as a C, because you sort of do understand why she's crazy. It's kind of fun to watch her be crazy. She has a great death, but she isn't really much more than that. And then her son, who I'm just going to chuck down here, you know, who cares about him? He was a weirdo. Right, Bronn. Bronn. I loved watching Bronn, but unfortunately in the late seasons, I just didn't really care for his character. I'll put him as an A purely for the early seasons. I loved him in Series 1 through about 5/6. I can't even remember if he was in Series 7. Series 8, his story sucked. His story was awful. We got the Maester at King's Landing. I'll put him as a B. You know, he was alright when he was on screen, but he was a bit of an arsehole, so. Varys I'm going to put as an S. I loved Varys. I really did. Again, big surprise. Wasn't super happy with his ending, but up till that point, his character was great. I just loved watching him. He was so much fun to watch. He was great. Right, next up, we've got this guy who is the brother of Natalie Dormer's character, who I'm gonna just chuck. Oh no, wait, this isn't him. Sorry, this is yeah, no, this is him. Yeah, I'm gonna chuck him down as a I think I'll put him as a C. looking back at it, he doesn't really do much. So, right, next up. Cersei's going straight to the top. She's one of the best villains in TV history. Again, shame about the ending. Like most characters who make it to the final season. If I was a character in Game of Thrones, I actually wish I'd been killed off before Series 8, just because I'd have hope that it would get a good ending. Because most characters who make it Series 8 that die, or in fact some of them that even live, just don't have good endings. And unfortunately Cersei's one of them. I mean, she gets trampled on by a building, or if she'd stood about 3 feet to the left or her right, she would have survived. So yeah, but anyway, we've got to look past that. Her story is incredible. She's one of the best villains ever. I love how she works her way up to the position that she ends up in. It's fantastic writing. So then we've got, what's her name? Is it Shia? Something like that? I'm going to put her as a B. I really loved her relationship with Tyrion. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. When they were on screen together in series, especially series 2 and 3, it was really entertaining. So yeah. Then we've got Ned Stark's brother, who I'm going to put him as D. It's such a shame. I really liked him in the first season, but then when they brought him back, it seemed so forced and so pointless. And it's like, they knew they had to do it because fans wanted to see him again, but they didn't know what to do with him. So yeah. And then, of course, we got Barristan here, who's a character I did really like while he was in it. I'm going to put him up as a B. I really like that character, you know, strong, authoritative character. He was a lot of fun to watch. Then, of course, we've got Khal Drogo. I really, really like Khal Drogo. I'm going to put him up as an A. He's just really fun. I just love Jason Momoa. Hodor, bit of a hard character to do, actually. But just because, you know, he doesn't really have much character to him. But because of what they've done with him in Series 6, I'd say he's gone from like a D or a C-list character to 100% a B. His character was... I actually loved what they done with him in Series 6. I thought that was very clever. George R. R. Martin did have some input into that as well. Just a really, really fantastic character. Then here we have the son of Tywin's brother, who I think I'm just gonna whack him down the bottom there. I mean, I know he becomes part of that religious cult, but I just didn't really care for him. And then we have the Maester of Winterfell, who I really enjoyed while he was on screen. I'm going to put him as a B. I actually was really upset when he died. I really wanted him to last longer. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame what happened to him, but he seemed like a really nice guy, and I liked his character. Then we have this guy whose name's escaping me. He was a bit of an arsehole. However, he had good character to him, so I'm going to put him as a B as well. Just really, really enjoyed his character. Even though, again, he was a bit like Joffrey and Ramsay, who we'll get to, where they were just kind of fun to hate, but they were really, really good characters, so you can't really fault them for it. You know, they've got to be somewhat high on the list because they were well-made, well-written characters. Then we've got this woman, the Wildling, who kind of looks after the 2 Stark boys for a while. I'm going to put her as a C because I like what they've done with her in the early seasons when her, Hodor, Bran, and this kid were going around. I liked her in those stories. Again, when they brought her back, I think it was in Series 6, and she sort of just had one scene with Ramsay. It was like, oh, okay. They didn't know what to do with her either, so she sort of just comes back in dead. And then we have the Maester of the Wall. I'm going to put as a C. He didn't really do much, but whenever he was on screen, he was nice. He was a nice presence. Then we got Catelyn Stark, who I'm going to put up as an A. I really, really like her character. I wished they'd done what they'd done with her in the books, because even though I didn't get this far in the books, because I stopped reading because I got upset with Game of Thrones because of the final season, you know, the Lady Stoneheart stuff I would have really liked to see. I think it could have given her character a bit more of an interesting backstory there, or background, sorry. Added a few more layers to her character, but she's really good. I really loved her, and her death was fantastic. You know, I know that it was very heartbreaking, but at the same time, it was also so shocking. It was like, well done. And then, of course, we got Robb Stark's wife here. I'm not going to put her high at all because I don't really remember much about her. I'll put her as a C character because, yeah, when she was on screen, she was fine. She didn't do anything wrong, but you know, she wasn't in it for long, was she? I think she was only in it for more or less a season. Yeah. Then we got Brienne of Tar. Now she's going straight up to the top. I love Brienne. Fantastic character. And again, her ending wasn't too... I didn't really dislike her ending too much. I hated something that happened with her in Series 8, but that's not her character's fault. That's more towards Jaime, who we'll talk about soon. And then, of course, Davos is going straight to the top. I love Davos. I just love him. He's just... I think he's... If I was going to be any character in Game of Thrones, it'd be him. He's just very level-headed. I love it. Tywin is going straight to the top. He's my favourite character, which I know might surprise some of you. Like, really? Tywin? I love Tywin. I love that stern, strict figure. He is the true villain of the first 4 seasons of the show. And I love, love, love Charles Dance. So Tywin's going to number 1. We got Stannis here. Stannis I'm going to put as an A. I really enjoy Stannis as well. He kind of reminds me a bit of Tywin, actually. He's like a strict, stern figure. He's not quite as authoritative, or is maybe a good word, as Tywin, but he's a really cool character. Got Natalie Dormer's character, who I'm going to put up as an A as well. I really loved how manipulative her character was. You could never quite figure out what her goal was at times. I mean, we all know that she wanted to be queen, but she had, other goals in mind, and it was always interesting to see where they go. Right, we've got Robb Stark's girlfriend from the first few seasons. What's her name? Ygritte. I'm going to put her as an A. I really enjoyed her. Really, really good character. Okay, then we've got... I do know. This is, of course, Greyjoy, the Greyjoy dad. I'm going to just chuck him down here as a C. He doesn't really... he's all right in Series 2, I think it is. We see him a lot. And then again, his death just feels like a lot of other Game of Thrones deaths here, where it's like, oh, they didn't know what to do with him. Just chuck him off a bridge. Quick, get rid of him. Then we got Ramsay Bolton's dad. Computer froze there. Who I'm going to chuck up as a B. I thought it was interesting how he sort of betrayed so many people just to get to where he was. Like most people in Game of Thrones. Next up, this is, of course, Sam's girlfriend now. I really love her. She's so sweet. And you, again, like Sam, you didn't want anything to happen to her. But she doesn't really do loads. So I'm going to chuck her just as a C. She's part of Sam's story arc. And that's what she's there for. And she's fantastic in it. But next up is Jaime. Now, Jaime, I have to put as a S, even though I really didn't like how they ended his story. Again, same as Cersei. I didn't like how he betrayed... oh, God, what's her name? I just said it. I didn't like how he betrayed... her in the final season. So, there's a lot of problems with Jaime. Series 8, I think. And even Series 7, he had a couple of silly bits, like when he fell in the river with all that armour on. And he instantly sunk it. It's like, this is silly. There was a lot of silly stuff around this character. However... I loved his character, his development. You hate him in the first season, and then by the time you get to the late seasons, even though the writing's getting a bit silly, he seems like he's come a long way, and he's a genuine nice guy now. And he was one of my favourites on screen. Podrick, I'm going to put as an A. Love Podrick. Red Woman, I'm also going to chuck up as an A. She was a really interesting character. Really weird at times, but I really, really enjoyed watching her. Theon's sister, I'm going to put as a B. I really enjoyed watching her on screen as well. She had a lot of cool scenes. I found her and her brother's relationship very interesting. Okay, this guy, the Valar Morghulis guy. I'm going to put... Honestly, he would have been like an A from the first few seasons. I loved him. But he got so boring, I'm going to put him as a C. Such a shame. I've never seen a character that I was so anticipated to see again. Just become so... I just didn't care about him in the end. Okay, Grey Worm. No. A or B? A or B for Grey Worm? I'm going to put him as a B. Just because, his character does come a long way. He's a bit boring at times. And again, just didn't like his ending. The guy with the eye patch, I'm going to put as a B. He was really interesting. Hey, the guy had a sword that set on fire. It looked like a lightsaber. It's cool as hell. Emilia Clarke's character's servant. I'm gonna chuck her. I'll put her as a B. She can go with Grey Worm. The King Beyond the Wall, I'm gonna put him as a C. You know, he doesn't do loads, but hey, when he's on screen, we like him. Okay, Gingerbeard, I forget his name off the top of my head. I'm gonna put him as an A. Even though he doesn't really do loads in the earlier seasons, I actually loved his character in the weaker seasons. Yeah, he was one of the highlights of those later few seasons for me because he was just so fun to watch on screen, very charismatic. Just a funny guy. Good time. Okay, Ramsay is going straight up as an A as well. Same feelings towards him as I have Joffrey. He was so much fun to hate. I loved him. And he actually made me laugh a bit more than Joffrey. He had a bit of a funny, quirky side to him. Okay, Emilia Clarke's character. Daenerys. Where is she going? Is she going an S? Yeah, she's going an S. She's an absolutely fantastic character. Again, the ending butchered her character. Really did ruin it, unfortunately. However, I'm trying to look at the show as a whole, and up to that point, she was so well developed. Maybe the best developing character I've ever seen in a TV show. So for that, she has to go there, really. Okay. Marjorie, Tyrell's mother. I forget her name, just the Tyrell mum. I'm going to put her as an A. She was just fucking awesome. Really sassy woman. I loved it. The guy who brings the dead guy back to life, I'm just going to put him down here as a D. He doesn't really have much of a purpose. And the same for this guy. This guy here who was in... He went over the wall with Jon and Ygritte in the early seasons, if people can actually remember him. Yeah, he can go down there. We got the Maester, who was... I think he was found at Castle Rock in Series 2. And then he became, obviously, a big player in the later seasons. I'm going to put him as a C. You know, he's alright. Yeah, he's alright. The Blackfish, I'm going to chuck him down here. You know, he didn't really do much for me. Tommen, I'll put Tommen as a C. You know, he was a bit forgettable, but he was alright. Okay, the guy who Daenerys sort of liked. I want to put him a bit higher, but I feel like purely because the later seasons just didn't even bother doing anything with him, and he's just completely forgettable. I'm going to put him as a C. This character baffles me, to be honest. I forget he exists. Why didn't we see what he thought about what happened with Daenerys? Surely this guy would have waged a war on what happened over that, but we don't get to see that because the rights couldn't be bothered. Okay, Obrien, I love Obrien, but, you know, he was only in one season, but I'm still going to chuck him in as an A. I don't even care. He was so fun. I loved him. The Viper's fantastic. We've got the Viper's wife. I'm going to chuck her in as B. You know, she really carried on his story, and it was really cool. But again, I don't even know what happened to this character. She got locked up by Cersei, and the writer's fault. We won't bother doing anything else with her. Why would we? You know, she gets locked up, and that's it. So then we got the, of course, the daughter of Jaime and Cersei, who I'm going to chuck down there because she doesn't really do much. I keep saying Emilia Clarke. Daenerys' brother. I'm going to chuck him as a C. He was an arsehole, didn't like him, but hey, he was interesting. He was somewhat of a well-written character, so he's got to go there. Right, the Sand Snakes, they've obviously got to go here. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Their characters were just very meh, you know. They didn't really have much of a presence on the show. And I know that people who read the books who loved them found them incredibly disappointing as well. And even as someone who hasn't, you know, I've only read the first books, as someone who hasn't read the books with them in, can see that they're not very well written characters. Okay, we've got the Maester, this guy, the religious guy, I'm going to put him as a C. He was more of an annoyance, and you knew he wasn't going to last till the late seasons, because you knew Cersei and the Night King and whatever, they were going to be the big villains. By the way, the Night King isn't even on this list. Anyway, and I want to say as well, people who always comment on these lists goes, where's this character, where's this? I don't make these lists. I don't make them, I'm sorry. I got someone who complained about the colour scheme. I don't make them. I'm just piggybacking off it. Anyway, we got this guy who sort of falls in love with Cersei's daughter. I'm going to chuck him down now, forget about him. Same for the brother of Obrien. I mean... And then the Greyjoy brother, God, I hate him. I really hated him. He was just so overdone. Like, forcing in a villain for the sake of it for the last seasons. This woman here, God, she can go down there. I barely remember her. Same for this one. Same for this guy, the Tarly dad. He can go down there. Jon Snow. Okay, here we go. Get on. Finally, another normal character, decent one. Jon has to go at the top, obviously. Again, it's poetic that he's next to Daenerys and Jaime, because those three I always all have similar feelings with. Up till Series 7, I love them all. They're fantastic. Easily the best characters in the show, in my opinion. And in the final season, it's just bottle all their characters. Jon Snow was so good up till the final season. I know there's people who are screaming at me who like the final season. I apologise. This guy can go down here. He doesn't really do much. You know, this guy here is only in one episode. Just to help the Hound, so he can go there. Then, of course, we have the guy who helped Sam out. I really like the actor, so I want to put him as a C, but his character genuinely doesn't do much, so he's going to have to go as a D. Right, final two characters. We're actually ending on a couple interesting ones. They're not just all this line of dead weight in the show. Robb Stark can go as an S. I loved Robb Stark. I thought it was fantastic. His character had purpose. You understood him. And he had a good ending. And Ned Stark is also going to go straight to the top. We love Ned. What a fantastic, fantastic character. And one of the most shocking, brutal deaths on TV as we know it. And there we go. There is the tier ranking for Game of Thrones characters. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Let's have a quick look over this. So here's the S characters. There's not really any surprises here in the S category. Maybe some people wouldn't put Varys there, I don't know. But I think everyone else sort of earned their place there. I don't think it's any massive shocks. And then, of course, we got the A's, and the B's, which are all good characters still. I like them a lot. The C's, I kind of would say, are the more forgettable characters. They're the ones that just sort of exist. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. D's, these are characters I straight up just didn't really connect with, the D characters. But yeah, there we go. There's the ranking. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Walking Dead will be up next. And of course, if there's any rankings that you'd like to be, it doesn't have to be characters, it can be movies. I think that, you know, here on the tier list, they do have movies. You could request just villains from a certain franchise or heroes. It's all on here, I think. So, hey, if there's any requests for the tier rankings, request them and I will eventually get to them. But Walking Dead is up next. Hope you've enjoyed it as always, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you all next time for another video. Bye-bye.